Hello, everyone. My name is Sarfraz Malik. I'm a solution architect with over 20 years' experience, and I've worked in various organizations, enterprise and small too. And in this video, we're going to take a real world problem that most existing enterprises would face, and we are going to solve that problem using Azure AI services. Stay tuned. Right. So before we dive further, I just want to mention that this is the part two of the two-part series video. In the part one, we implemented quite a major chunk of the architecture that I'm showing over here. Anyone who's not watched the part one, please watch the part one. I'm going to put the link in the description and somewhere over here on the screen as well. You might find the link to my other video. In the part one, we implemented an MCP server on top of an existing product's API hosted in the Azure API management service. We then created an agent in the Azure AI Foundry called Nexio Products Agent, which was connecting to the MCP server using that as a tool. And through that, we were able to query and pull the products information using RAG. We then went on and basically loaded the company's products images and other data into a blob storage. We implemented Azure AI search, which was then which then consumed that images data using indexers, data sources, and skill sets. We managed to extract um, the images OCR data. We used Azure AI Vision to basically pull and extract the images description from the company's products images information. We implemented another AI agent in the Azure AI Foundry, which connected to the Azure AI Search as a custom tool, and then we were able to query all that images information through that agent. So we essentially build these two agents, which one of them provide information about the company's data using its REST API and RAG. Whereas the second agent kind of looks up and has that information on top of the company's images and OCR and the custom vision, right? So now in this video, we're going to go further and we're going to build a new workflow using Azure AI Foundry workflow, and we are going to try and build an end-to-end AI agent, which kind of provides that whole overall flow and orchestrates these agents, in a more meaningful manner. Okay, so to build our agents workflow, we go back to our resource group. We want to go back to the Nexio AI Foundry. Um, we want to go to the Foundry portal. Right. So once we are in the Foundry portal, we want to design a workflow. It's going to be a new workflow. I'm just going to clean up some of the default elements over here. You can look at the workflow and keep it as in a vertical format or a horizontal format, however works for you. I quite like the vertical structure, so I'm just going to keep that. I'm going to remove some of the, or maybe we should have just gone ahead with a blank, to be honest. But anyway, we've got to start here. So one of the first thing that we want to do at the start is to send a message to the customer. And the message that we want to say here is welcome to Nexio Electronics. My name is Mini. Um, and that's it. So basically, what we are doing is we are introducing the agent to the customer. And the next thing we want to do is ask a question. So there's another workflow action over here called ask a question. And here, what we are saying here is, how can I help? And if you notice here, the input that we expect from the user is in a string format, and then the user response could be saved in a local variable. So I'm just going to create a new variable and I'm going to call it user question. And then, so what these two activities are doing is we are introducing the agent to the customer, and then we are asking question from the user who are then going to respond, and that response is going to go in a variable called user question, right? So once we've got the question, the question is going to be about a Nexio product. We want to raise the same question to our agents. We've already built two agents, which is an Nexio products agent, which then goes and looks up the detail of the query in terms of the question from the Nexio products database and through the Nexio products API that we build, which then goes back through the APIM, through the MCP server, and onto the backend API. And then also we want to query Nextview products AI vision agent, which is actually looking up all the data that we've got with regards to the products, the images, and all other data that we got in the Azure AI search. So we're going to run customers query on both of these agents and kind of combine the results. So let's just do the first one. So the action over here is going to be an agent, invoke an agent. We're going to select an agent. Let's just select, we've got two agents over here, you can see. So we're going to select Nextview products agent. And the key thing to here is, okay, what is the input message that goes into the agent? So I'm going to select here user question. That is what is going as an input. And the response which is coming out of here is I'm going to create a new response. Let's just call it um, products agent response. That's going to go in here in this variable. Right. So we've got that response, and then we want to invoke another agent, and this time we want to invoke the orders AI vision agent. We want to pass the same question that was passed to the other agent to this agent as well. So we want to pass the user question to this agent, and the response is going to be again. We're going to create a new variable. Let's just call it products AI vision agent response, right? So we've got the response from two of the agents. So far, we've got the capability to introduce ourselves, have asked the user a question, get their answer, and then kind of feed their question to two of the agents that we built previously. These agents, as we've done in our last session, have the capability to look at the organization's data and try and answer that question. Right. So because we are in a preview, and I'm not going to focus on deployment in this particular video, we're going to run this workflow within here within the Microsoft Foundry preview. I'm not going to focus a lot on combining the result and then displaying and all that, because we will be in preview mode. All the responses coming in from agents will be visible anyway. So after these two agents have responded, I'm going to add in a step and check. I'm going to add in a step to ask the user again if they have any more questions, right? So let's just add that step. We need to go in there. So ask the question, and we're going to say, do you have any more uh, questions? And what we are expecting is that the user response is going to be in a string format, and it's going to be we're going to store it in a new variable. Let's just call it, and we're going to call it more questions, right? So once we've got that from the user, we want to put in an if else statement. So I'm going to do if else. AI Foundry has the capability to put conditional logic. So I'm going to put a if else. And one of the logic that we want to check is if the user has more questions to ask, then we want to do a certain steps. And if the user um, doesn't need to ask any questions, then we're just going to kind of finish that conversation and terminate that session. So the condition that we want to check is if more questions, local variable and more questions equals to yes. So what we're expecting is that user is going to say yes or no to the previous question, and if that is yes, then the workflow is going to go on the left hand side. Otherwise, the workflow is going to go on the right hand side. So over here, what we want to do is basically the user has more questions, so we want to put a go to, and that anyone who has been doing programming is going hopefully is well familiar with go to. We want to go back to ask a question, right? So let's just see which step I've done it. All right, so now we can see if the user has more questions, then we're going back to the step over here on the top, where we ask them, okay, how can we help? And the user question is going to be fed back again to the two agents that we've got. The response is going to be shown, and then this loop kind of continues until the user wants to terminate the session, right? So now if the user says, no, I don't have any more questions, so we want to kind of send them a message and conclude the session. So let's just send a message in here. And what we will say here is thank you so much. Thank you for contacting um, Nexio support team. Please provide feedback if you can, and have a nice day. And that's it. So we are kind of concluding our conversation over here. So yeah, so there you go. So we've got number of steps now, and a kind of a basic workflow end to end, which can go in a loop, where users can ask questions again and again. So let's just save that workflow. I'm going to call this workflow as Nexio agent, um, Nexio agent workflow. Let's just save that. Right. So the workflow is now saved. This workflow can be executed from using the API or SDK, Foundry API or SDK, from your code from anywhere. Because the focus of this session is more about getting things up and running quickly within the Zoho portal, I'm just going to run it over here in a preview mode. So if you run a preview over here, you can kind of debug as well as run a session in here. And here you go. You can see um, the session has started. So I'm going to raise a question here. So imagine I'm a customer who comes on to a Nexio help and support agent uh, website or a mobile app window, and I'm just going to say hi, right? So I'm introducing myself or just raising a question. So you can see on the left hand side any step that has been run, that's clicked, and now um, on the right hand side, so you can see the agent workflow has run, and it has basically welcomed me with the statement, welcome to Nexio Electronics, my name is Mini. And then it's asked the next question, how can I help? And it's kind of waiting for me to answer, right? So I'm going to ask it a question about, do you have um, a Samsung monitor? um, I need some details. Right, so I'm just going to ask a question. Let's just about monitor. So let's just see what happens over here. So that question then gets fed back now to the Nextview products agent, and it's kind of responding on the right hand side. We're just going to try and open that up a bit, and then you can see that the same question was fed to the products AI vision agent, and then that responded, and that's over here. So if I scroll up a little bit, apologies for the window size. I'm going to see if I can possibly expand this a little bit. Um, right, doesn't look like it's quite possible. At least I can't find anything in here. But anyway, nonetheless, you can see the response coming in from the products agent. And it's saying, yep, Nexio Electronics offers several Samsung monitors, and here's some of the models available. And you can see it's returned back me information about the Samsung Monitor 6, which a category is a monitor, and there's a details about the the model number and even the price, and also stock information, because when we had that API that had the stock information, there is also warranty information. There's model 21 available, and then it's detail, and then model 36 available, and it's detail. And then basically it tried and went and make a call to the AI vision agent, and for whatever reason, it's saying that I cannot reply, only deal with Nexus Electronics, so it couldn't answer a question about the Samsung monitors. And then it's saying, do you have any more questions, right? So obviously, as I said, this is focused on and for preview model running here. And when we want to productionize it and deploy it, we need to combine the results from both of these agents and avoid a scenario where one of them is actually saying, I don't have any data. Because we are kind of previewing it here, it's all getting displayed over here. So now I'm going to say yes, I have a question, so I'm going to say yes. So if I say yes, you can see the if else condition got kicked in. Mocha questions equals to true, and then the loop goes back, and it's now again waiting for another question, and the agent is asking me, how can I help? So we're going to raise another question. Well, we're just going to say, do you have um, an iPad, right? We're just asking information about an iPad. See if it has any more iPad information, and you can see the products agent doesn't have information about iPad, and the AI Vision agent doesn't have information about iPads, and it's saying, I'm only dealing with Nexio Electronics. Let's see if we ask about something else. So, do you have? Let's just see what are the products does Nexio Electronics has. Okay, I'm just going to look a little bit about the Nexio product. So one of the things that they had is a laptop. So we're going to say, do you have a laptop, right? So and see if the agent comes back with anything. So there you go. Oh, okay. Sorry, I think I've kind of messed up a bit. The question was, do you have any more questions? And I asked that another question, and that kind of closed the loop. So let's just run it again. Um, the workflow is kickstarted. I'm going to say hi. Um, and it's asking me, welcome to Nexus Electronics. How can I help? So I'm going to say, do you have a laptop? Give me details, right? Let's see if both the agents can find information about some laptops. The first one is the Nexio um, uh, products agent, and again we can see it has found several project laptops. It's found laptop model 2, Lenovo laptop model 3, as well as the laptop model 4. For whatever reason, the AI Vision agent is not coming back with a response. So let's see how can we deal with that. So we called it a Nexio agent workflow. So if we go in here and see the AI Vision agent, the input message was the user question, so that seemed okay. It is getting the same question, but for whatever reason, it's not coming back with a response. I'm going to look at it later, but I think you get a good idea on how um, the workflows in the AI Foundry provide you that powerful framework where you can kind of build that agent end-to-end workflows, and then doing orchestration and calling multiple agents, collating the data, asking questions from the users, running if-else statements. There is a lot of capability in here, and that combined together provides a lot of power to anyone building an AI agent. So I think I want to wrap up the video over here because we've covered quite a lot of bit in this video, and I don't want to kind of prolong this video too much. Thank you very much for watching. Please provide feedback, and I'm going to aim maybe in one of the next videos to see if I can focus on a deployment of these agents through ARM template, and maybe running some of these things from the code using SDK or API. Well, have a good day. Thank you.